Okay. So I had a conversation with an agent on Saturday that inspired today's call. And conversation was just a normal conversation that I have with a lot of the agents in my office. And I asked her, how are you doing? And her answer was, and this is a mega agent, does a lot of business, been in the business for a long time. And when I say a lot of business, $15-20 million plus a year. She answered, the market has definitely shifted. Things are slowing down. My business is much slower than I'm used to, and I'm not panicking. I'm like, all right, cool. Glad you're not panicking. And my follow-up question was, so what's your plan in order to ramp up your business? Because we don't want to see your business drop. And her answer was, work harder. I'm like, okay, so that's a good answer. And actually, Gary talks about that in Shift. We have to double down when the market shifts. He says on page 49, actually, that when the market shifts, it's going to take more effort than you've ever given, and more so than anyone else. In other words, we're in competition. We're in competition to find the motivated. And so more effort is the right answer. However, there's more to it. Okay. On page 23, Gary also talks about two shifts that need to take place. One is a mental shift in how we think, and the other one is an action shift. In other words, if we keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting. And we don't want that. So specifically, what actions need to change in order for you to get back on track? All right. I'm going to go to page 23 and actually just share with you what Gary has to say on this topic. When a shift occurs, confusion follows. Not only in the marketplace, but also in the mind and body. What to think and what to do becomes fuzzy because what once worked is no longer working. Now, just take that and add working harder. Working harder isn't going to fix this. If what once worked is no longer working and I just work harder, I'm going to get more of what I've been getting, which is not what I want to get. And you may not know why it's not working. Now, when a market shifts, there is only one thing to do: shift with it. That's your mental shift and your action shift. We're going to focus on action shift today. Page 26, Gary says, understand what worked yesterday probably won't work today. And that was my conversation with this agent. Specifically, what do you need to do in order to get back on track, in order to ramp up your business? Because understand, what worked yesterday may not work today. Gary also says in Shift that we succeed in good times because of what we do right, but we also succeed in spite of what we do wrong. Now, when a market shifts, it exposes those blind spots. In other words, we start to discover where there's gaps in our business. I'm going to read this to you again and listen carefully. Understand what worked yesterday probably won't work today, and what now matters now probably didn't then. So one of the examples that I gave her, and I'm going to give you 5 suggestions today before we're done, before we finish, on action steps that you can take that you may not be doing right now. Okay. One of the things that I suggested to her was, what can you do that you're currently not doing in order to get your business ramped up, in order to get back on track? Because understand, when a market shifts, new strategies are required and new actions are required. New strategies and new actions are required. In other words, if we keep doing what we've been doing, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting, and that's not the goal. So, question: what's one thing? Please write this down. Spend time thinking about your answer. What's one thing that you are currently not doing, that if you started doing it today, it would move you closer to your goal? What's one thing that you are currently not doing that if you were to start doing today, it would move you closer to your goal? So one of the questions that I asked this agent that I was speaking to is, are you calling expireds? And I got the answer that I thought I would get, which is I don't like to call expireds. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I've had this conversation with several agents in the last couple of weeks. Don't call them. Pick 5 expired listings a day and go knock on their door. Now, if 5 is too many, pick 3. But pick a number that you can hold yourself accountable to and go knock on their door. Now, when they answer the door, it's the same conversation you would have if they picked up the phone, which is simply, good morning, my name is blank. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and I noticed your listing came off the market. Just curious, are you still interested in selling your home? And take the conversation from there. No, I'm not. Okay, no worries, thank you. And if I had a full price offer tomorrow, would you want me to bring you the offer? Go knock on their door, have a conversation with them. Guys, there's plenty of scripts on those expired conversations on my YouTube page. Just go watch those videos again. All right, now pick 5 a day, pick 3 a day, whatever number you're going to hold yourself accountable to. So the question was, what's one thing that you are currently not doing that if you started doing it today, it would move you closer to your goal? Next question. This comes from page 27. On page 27, Gary says, our research shows the 2 actions real estate agents must take personal ownership of are lead generation and lead conversion. In other words, are you personally in lead generation and lead conversion daily? If you have an ISA who's doing this for you, or you are part of a team and you have agents on your team who are doing this for you, ask yourself, who is the best person in order to make these calls and have these conversations? If you're a rainmaker of a large team, the answer is easily you. How do you think you became a rainmaker of a large team? Because you're the individual on your team with the most talent. You need to be making these calls. If you haven't been making these calls, take that action back. What's the goal of lead generation? Next question. What's the goal of lead generation? And I'm going to give you the answer. Find the motivated. The biggest challenge in a shifting market is motivation. Motivation is what caused it to shift in the first place. In other words, fewer motivated buyers causes fewer deals and more inventory, which is a market shift. So motivation is the cause. Motivation is also the solution. In other words, the purpose of lead generation is find the motivated. How do you define lead generation success? Well, for me, 2-10-40. That's it. 2-10-40 plus 1 new relationship in my database every day. In other words, 2 face-to-face appointments a day, 10 a week, 40 a month, and 1 new relationship in my database every day. That's how I define lead generation success. All right, I'm going to give you 5 strategies or 5 actions that you can take. Get ready to write them down. Prospect expired listings. Pick 5 expired listings every day and go knock on their door. Now, what I want you to say to them, in addition to what I already shared with you, is I specialize in selling homes that should have but didn't, like yours. I specialize in selling homes that should have but didn't, like yours. You know, when a home doesn't sell, it's usually because of 1 of 3 reasons, either price, presentation, or marketing. And just out of curiosity, which of those 3 do you believe is the reason your home didn't sell? One of the reasons I sell so many homes that should have but didn't is because I specialize in pricing to the current market in order to get your home sold. In other words, I am a strategic pricing professional. I specialize in staging in order to present your home in its brightest light. And I am an aggressive marketer in order to get your home in front of the right buyers. Getting your home in front of buyers is not the challenge. Getting your home in front of right buyers, that's the challenge. All right, the second action that I want you to focus on is for sell by owners need your help more now than ever. I don't know how much longer you're going to see a lot of for sale by owners. If this market is anything like the market we had back in 2008, 9, and 10, for sale by owners for the most part are going to go away. All right. However, they're still out there and they need your help now more than ever. Remember, we're in a market shift. There are fewer sales happening. Inventory is increasing. There are fewer motivated buyers, which means these for sale by owners are not attracting buyers either. If you have a listing that's been sitting on the market and you've been aggressively marketing that property, just imagine what the experience is that a for sale by owner is having right now. All right, number 3, 3-step circle prospecting. The question was, what can I do that I am currently not doing that if I were to start doing it today would move me closer to my goal? Well, one of those things is 3-step circle prospecting. Here's how it works. Write it down. Pick a property that recently sold and either walk the neighborhood or pay somebody to walk the neighborhood for you and put door hangers on every door around the property that recently sold. The message is your name, your brand, your contact information with a home in your neighborhood recently sold, which is great news. And there are still buyers looking for great homes like yours. Just curious, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, the next day, I want you to mail a postcard to everybody in that neighborhood. The message is your name, your brand, your contact information, and a home in your neighborhood recently sold, which is great news. And there are still buyers looking for great homes like yours. And just curious, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? In other words, it's exactly the same brand and same message as the flyer you put on the door. So now they've heard from you twice in a matter of 3 or 4 days. Now you're going to follow up with a phone call or you're going to knock on the door. And the message is simply, hey, my name is Sarah. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. You probably got a postcard from me recently. Maybe you got a flyer on your door as well. The reason I'm reaching out to you is because a home in your neighborhood recently sold, which is great news. And there are still buyers looking for great homes like yours. Okay, you get it. Now you've touched them 3 times in less than a week with the same message. Now, could you just send postcards? Yes, you could. Could you just walk the neighborhood with a flyer? Yes, you could. However, if you follow this process, all 3 steps, the chances of finding a motivated seller are much greater than if you just do one. All right, number 4. Tour of home open houses. So open houses are coming back. You're going to see more and more open houses. And some of you have 3, 4, 5, 10 listings. And one of your challenges, you can't do open houses for all 5 listings on the same day. Or could you? And here's what a tour of home open houses is. You pick 3 properties, you advertise the heck out of this, and 3 homes that are close to one another that you're going to do. For example, one open house is going to be 11 to 12. So they're 1 hour. That's it. And because you've shrunk the amount of time that a buyer can come and look at that open house, the idea is to get more traffic in there in that time period to create enthusiasm about the property. So you're going to do one of the properties from an open house from 11 to 12. You'll do another open house from 1 to 2, and then the third open house from 3 to 4. It's a tour of homes, open house that you advertise the heck out of, all close to one another geographically and all for a period of 1 hour each. All right, number 5, this is it. Make bold 100 calls once a week, part of your weekly strategy to find the motivated. Now, is that too much? Is that too big of a challenge? And if it is, I get it. I really do. Guys, I would rather you do a bold 100 every month than not at all. So if you're currently not making 100, having 100 conversations in a day, that's a bold 100. If you're currently not having 100 conversations in a day, by the way, typically it's going to take a lot of time. This is not easy to do. It's something that may take you all day long. If you're currently not doing that, then start with once a month, and then maybe once every other week, and then eventually once every week. Remember, your goal is to find the motivated. You are doubling down on effort, looking at new strategies, and you're in a competition to find the motivated. Okay, raise your hand and talk to me.